And so by the end of that song, I do find myself like having to really dig deep for those big notes at the end of the song.
And I put on the shoes. I'd rehearse in trainers for a bit and be like, something's not right. And then I put the shoes on and be like, nah, that's what it is. It's the shoes.
So
Hmm.
I wonder, Rebecca, if you guys knew each other from before. Did you have to work at your chemistry
Yeah, we
with
hate each
Eve?
other. Oh gosh, we hate each other in
Yeah, in real life, I can't stand her actually.
All right, this is NMACC Culture Conversations with Thrilled. The Nita Mukesh Ambani Cultural Center presents Wicked the Musical, 12th of March, running all the way up to the 29th of March at the Grand Theatre NMACC. Tickets are live, going out very fast, so go get them at Book My Show as well as the venue, which is the NMACC. And very pleased to welcome two prominent cast members. If you're a Wicked fan, the movie, the musical, this is India's time now. Rebekah Lowings, who plays Elphaba, joins me, and Eve, who plays Glinda, joins me. Hi, Rebecca. Hi, Eve. How are you guys?
Hi, you're good, thank you. How are you?
Excellent. Waiting for you guys to come and hit Indian shores. I'm going to start with you, Rebecca. Elphaba
Hello.
is vocally one of the most demanding roles in musical theatre. What was your first reaction when you were cast?
Oh, well, my first reaction was when I was cast was, oh, now I actually have to do it. I think, I think when you're auditioning, your inner saboteur will always say, I can or I can't do it, etc., etc. And mine was definitely going, oh, but what if you can't do it? And then getting the job offer was a very strong nod into the trust that the team had in me. And then going away and working on that vocally. I think that I'm very proud of this role and I'm very proud of the work that I've put in to then therefore be consistent and hopefully a good Elphaba. But vocally it is a beast, but I'm just so grateful that I get to take on that challenge every day.
Awesome. Eve, Glinda can easily be played as superficial. How do you find the emotional depth beneath her sparkle?
I mean, I think actually it's funny. I think sometimes actually the bigger the sparkle, the more that lays underneath. And I think she's got so much hidden. And I think getting into Act Two, when we were doing the rehearsal process, obviously Act One is she's mostly her younger self, and so she's growing into the woman she's going to become. In Act Two, you kind of start and she is now the woman that she was growing up to be. And there's a lot underneath the surface. She's got a partner who, you know, she's very emotionally intelligent, is Glinda. I think if you're any kind of politician or any kind of public figure, you have to be able to read rooms and be very
Yeah.
emotionally intelligent. And Glinda has always been emotionally intelligent, and I think she can sense things very easily. And so, starting off in Act Two, when Fiyero is obviously not exactly on board with her, and her best friend has left and she's kind of on her own, and I think being lonely in that sense brings up so much stuff. And so I kind of start there, and everything else is just, I just kind of try to be in the moment with it. But yeah, she's got a lot of layers underneath, and I really hope that I show that she has so much depth and intelligence as a character, as well as obviously being blonde and wearing beautiful dresses.
Rebecca, Defying Gravity is an anthem worldwide. What a hit. How do you make it personal rather than performative? Because normally, when you're doing musical theater and you've got to perform to the galleries, it's easy to get carried away, but yet you've got to keep it personal enough for people to be identify to be people to be able to identify with it, the feeling, the emotion.
Well, I think the harness and the flying really do help keep it fresh every day because I think the issue that I kind of am constantly thinking about giving a good performance, but also the technicalities that are behind Defying Gravity. It's a hugely technical piece within the show. You have harnesses, you have flying, you have lighting, you have sound. It's a huge beast of a song. And I truly believe that, again, it never feels performative, mainly because, I mean, I'm on stage with Eve at that point, and we take some huge deep breaths because we know the responsibility of that song. and we understand the responsibility that we therefore have to perform it to our utmost standard. And it's one of my favorite songs to perform within the show. So I think I keep it fresh every single day because it means so much to me as a person and as a fan of the show, not just as Elphaba, but as a fan of the show. It means so much to me to make sure that people know the power and the strength and the vulnerability that that song kind of conveys.
Popular, meanwhile, Eve is absolute comedic gold. How do you learn the timing when singing live?
That's actually such a good question. So it was definitely like a work in, and it still is every night, and especially in every country and venue that we go to. It does slightly change. I think Becky can attest that sometimes I'm on stage and she's like, oh, that's different. Because I think throughout the show, I have maybe about 40 minutes in the show before Popular starts. So I kind of get a sense of the audience and kind of what they respond to, what other people are doing that they like, what I do that maybe they don't respond to as well. And every night sometimes is a little bit different. So I kind of subconsciously, I think now, take that on. And then within Popular, there are so many little opportunities for little kind of either physical moments or maybe I just even a little look to the audience, breaking the fourth wall. And I try and change it up occasionally just to kind of keep it fresh again. And so it's not just repetitive and I don't get stuck in something. I want to always make sure that I'm responding to the audience, giving the people the comedy that they find interesting rather than some stuff that we've just rehearsed and that's it. And I think John, our director, gave me so much license, oh my goodness, to be able to play around with things that I find funny or Eve-isms that are in it, but also obviously staying true to the world of Glinda. So yeah, I don't want to say improv, but I'd say I put little different sparkles in. So every time you see Popular, it'll be ever so slightly different, hopefully.
I like Eve-isms.
Yes, Eve-isms.
Eve-isms.
So I mean, I'm only a radio DJ, but I have lots of actor friends, Rebekah, and they're constantly, when we're having coffee or we're out of the pub, they're constantly talking about how, I wore the cop uniform and suddenly I felt different, yada, yada, yada. The green makeup is iconic, isn't it? I mean, I wonder if wearing it changes how you feel as a performer.
I think very similar to your friend, stepping into any costume kind of is that final element and that final veil of unwrapping that character. I could be green and in my own clothes and be fine, which I often am in between shows. I'm green, but then with my own clothes, having my lunch, and it looks strange, but I'm still myself. Whereas I put on the costume, I put on the wig. I think wigs are so important. Wigs, hair, and makeup in general, they are not recognized enough in this industry. The shows are not anything without wigs, hair, and makeup, and I will just say that with my whole chest.
Wow is the basis of every show. Honestly, it is
basis of every show. But stepping into that character with the makeup, with the wigs, with the costumes, it kind of just really grounds me as a performer to remind myself of that responsibility, that as soon as I am being painted green, my lifelong goal of playing Elphaba is being achieved every single night. And it's that moment of going, I'm getting green again. And like, there are days where you go, I'm getting green again. Okay, here we go. Lock it. But on most opportunities, I am sat there going, my dream is being a reality right now. And it's really, really beautiful.
Well, she's got her green makeup, and Eve, you've got the pink gown.
Exactly.
Do you feel spectacular enough in it?
Yes. I also think shoes are very important because I rehearsed in heels. Because me as Eve, maybe my posture isn't as excellent, but the minute I put the heels on, I become a bit more like Glinda in terms of posture even, and literally walking in someone else's shoes. And that's always been quite a big thing for me, especially. And the minute I put on the shoes, I'd rehearse in trainers for a bit and be like, something's not right. And then I put the shoes on and be like, nah, that's what it is. It's the shoes.
Rebekah, what's the hardest vocal moment in the show for you? Technically, I mean.
Probably No Good Deed. I think it's either No Good Deed or The Wizard and I find them very, very different. The Wizard and I is like the setup of the entire show. It's the first impression of Elphaba vocally to an audience. And I think that there's a great responsibility to make sure that you set the tone for the rest of the show. And it's a 5.5, 6 minute song. and you really have to. It's a marathon. It's definitely not a sprint. And so by the end of that song, I do find myself like having to really dig deep for those big notes at the end of the song. And then No Good Deed, because I mean vocally it is just where she comes into her own and she becomes that wicked witch, and so her whole voice changes. I kind of start Elphaba in like a bit more of a lighter, brighter sound, and within No Good Deed she becomes that woman and she becomes that kind of guttural wicked witch, and I love it.
Eve, actually, pretty much the same question for you in terms of technical challenges. You know, vocally, Glinda sits in a very different register from Elphaba. And I mean, I would imagine that is challenging about her score. So talk to me about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think actually it's not a common misconception, but I think I came into it thinking, yes, oh my gosh, I've got to have my top range like so solid to make sure I can, obviously I open the show and I'm like, oh, I'm all the way up there. But quite quickly, I actually have to blend with Elphaba. Like we sing our Sorry, anyway. I sing a bit. I'm singing. Anyway,
No,
but yeah, so I basically start up there. But our first duet, the next thing I sing is quite belty, and I have to blend with Becky, who's obviously just sung Wizard and I. So we're coming from literally two opposite points. We have to meet in the middle. Yeah, and so actually, a lot of the technical challenge with Glinda is making sure that while having a really strong soprano, I have to really make sure that I can blend and meet Elphaba in that slightly more mixy, belty place. And I think probably the most challenging part is probably Thank Goodness, which is kind of like my 6-7 minute number, which is right at the top of Act 2. So you're kind of coming in cold after the interval. I'm climbing up and down stairs in like this massive, gorgeous, like basically Dior gown, like it's crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm having a fight scene, not fight, like physical fight, like a verbal fight scene, and then I'm singing a top C, and then suddenly I'm belting, and there's a lot going on in that. And so I think technically it's me just going, let's just take one thing at a time and not overthinking anything, and just kind of staying grounded whilst making sure I'm also checking off every emotional point, because I think in that song there's like 5 or 6 emotional beats that you have to hit, otherwise Act 2 doesn't work. Like, it doesn't work unless you hit those beats, at least for me. I feel like I haven't given the audience enough to respond to for the rest of the act if I don't hit those beats. So, yeah, I think it's just a lot of multitasking and trying to make it look like I'm not.
The Wicked the musical, for your characters, the two of you, is all about making that onstage friendship believable. So I wonder, Rebekah, if you guys knew each other from before. Did you have to work at your chemistry?
Yeah,
with
we hate
Eve?
each other. Oh gosh, we hate each other.
Yeah, in real life, I can't stand her actually. We actually didn't know each other. We both went to the same drama school, but years difference. But I knew of Eve in the industry. I mean, there's she's just played Christine in the Phantom of the Opera. It's pretty hard to not know who.
Yes,
it's pretty hard not to know who she is. So I was like, oh, I knew of her, but I didn't know her in general. But we did meet up for a little cheeky cocktail beforehand, just to kind of gauge each other's personality, to know how we could like fit and mold within each other. Because I think that's really, really important, to kind of complement each other's friendship, to be like, okay, what kind of friend do I need to be to help you through this process? What kind of friend do you need to be to help me through this process? And then we kind of just built from there. And like, we said this on many interviews, that the basic level of respect is so necessary, and we formed that really very early on. And we just kind of have to like constant check-ins with each other of like, okay, how are you feeling today? How are you feeling now we've done the first show into the second show? And it is just that constant, it's a fluid relationship, like a fluid friendship, to make sure that we have to constantly support each other in the ways that we can.
So, For Good is one of musical theatre's most emotional duets. Eve, what goes through your mind during the song?
Gosh, so much. No, I think For Good is such a nice moment, because obviously me and Bex have been on this train, as we call it. We get on that train and we don't stop. Even in the interval, Bex is getting touched up. She's becoming the woman version of Elphaba. I'm changing. Oh, that sounds wrong. I didn't mean that. I meant her makeup is getting changed.
My
Her
makeup's
makeup,
getting changed.
yeah, and she's she's putting a lash on, all this kind of stuff, and I'm getting a wig change. I'm obviously changing a massive dress and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, so that's happening. So even in the interval, we don't really stop, and then
No.
all of a sudden we're kind of doing this massive fight scene where we're screaming at each other, and Michael's walking off and leaving me alone, and it can be quite personally like, oh gosh, because your body sometimes doesn't know what's real and what's not. So sometimes I can be in that show and going, oh gosh,
Oh
that
yeah.
really hurt. Even obviously it's acting, but especially when you're on your sixth show of the week and Michael just shouted at my face and walked off, I'm like, oh, I'm alone. That's sad. And then it's really nice to come into For Good and just to look in Bex's eyes and be like, oh, we've got each other. Like we can
Yeah,
kind
it's a
of
safe space.
it feels like a really, really safe space. I kind of forget the audience is there quite a lot, like genuinely.
Always.
That's probably the only time in the show where I'm really not aware of what's happening out there, and it's really quite an intimate moment between me and Bex of just being like, "How was that show for you?" Or I can see in your okay, this, oh okay, and like I cry quite a lot in that song.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of a bit of a release. It's just like,
Yeah.
oh god, it feels so nice to have you back, because we don't really
Yeah.
interact in Act Two, and it's actually
No,
kind
Act Two,
it's
we
quite
barely see
sad.
each other.
It's quite sad,
Yeah.
and like I so heavily rely on Bex as a friend and as an actor that it's like, oh god, that's so nice to have my friend back, So it's a very personal thing for me every night, and yeah, I get quite emotional about it because it does me
Yeah.
a lot.
I also always forget that Chistery's in the corner.
Yeah, poor Jack
The
is
whole
just
time.
sat there.
The whole time. In a squat.
All right. Audition pieces. Maybe you can
Oh.
start, Rebekah, and then Eve, you can take over. I don't know. Did you sing from Wicked when you auditioned?
Yeah, so when it was quite a quick audition process, and so when we first went in, we were given, I believe the Elphabas were given Defying Gravity, The Wizard and I, and For Good. And I remember being like, oh, I wonder if they're going to pair us up and make us sing For Good together, because that would be incredible. But I only ever sang Defying Gravity and The Wizard and I sang that in the first audition, and then the final I just sang Defying Gravity. I always find it so bizarre that the casting teams for Wicked never asked to sing No Good Deed, because I feel like that is like probably one of the most challenging songs of the show. But I think with regards to Stephen Schwartz, the composer, I feel like he needs to hear you sing Defying Gravity to know that you've got that in you, and also Defying Gravity has the top note of the written score, which is the top F, which is the challenging part of the show. So I think that's probably why. But yeah, so I actually just sang stuff from Wicked, which I was very grateful for.
Eve.
Yeah, I mean, I think the same for me and Bex. We went straight in with what we call material, which is material from the show. So in a normal like London audition, at least, I will ask for a song of your choice that fits the brief of the character, or they'll ask straight for material, which is sometimes a lot easier for the team because they can just see straight up what you sound like rather than have to hear your own song and go, well, does that fit with the character? So I think they just were like, let's cut straight to the chase. Let's hear you sing Popular. I think I had Popular, and then right at the start of the show, like the Let Us Be Glad, When You Come Down the Bubble, that kind of top soprano register. And they asked to prepare Thank Goodness, obviously for that kind of beltier side. But I actually never did that, which is really, I never did that.
Yeah.
But I think some people did. Anyways, but yeah, so I just did Popular, and then we had a couple of scenes to do, and then the Let Us Be Glad. And then they asked for the top C at the end of Thank Goodness. So I literally just had to do the end of it, just to check that you physically have that note. But yeah, I much prefer doing material because you can really sink your teeth into it rather than with your own song. You kind of have to change it depending every single time going for audition for a different character, and it can be quite confusing. So this is quite nice because you know what you're going to get. Popular is popular.
In India, we pretty much all of us grow up with musical theatre. And I don't just mean in terms of Bollywood, because all our movies are song and dance routines. But from an early age, we're exposed to spectacular musicals in the theatre with costumes and things like that in Hindi or many regional languages. So you must know that this is a very, very refined audience, Rebekah, that you guys are coming to perform to, because we're used to that level of musical theater and costumes and
Yeah.
grandeur and things like that. So I wonder about the India experience. I don't know if they've shown you pictures of the Grand Theatre, the NMACC. It's a beautiful venue. It's got
It's
the whole
huge.
musicians pit, and it's really the way it's named, Grand Theatre. So I'd like to know from both of you, I mean, how excited you are about bringing this to India. Rebecca?
I'm so excited. I love the fact that we're bringing it to an audience who is so aware of musical theatre. I think that's going to fill us with so much joy. And with every individual, like daily performance, things change, in
Yeah.
especially with like what an audience brings to the table. Um, when you open a show in a new venue, within the first half an hour of the show, you get an idea of what an audience feels and thinks, and then you really do kind of lean into that. Like Eve was saying with Popular, she kind of gauges an audience, and then she'll lean into that. And if you're saying that they are so refined in musical theatre, I welcome that, and I welcome that challenge. Like, I'm so excited to be able to be like, okay, guys, let's see what you guys have, and then let's see what we have and bring it to the table. But I will say that as a show as a whole, it's a spectacle. It's absolutely beautiful, this show. Visually, sound wise, everything that we bring to the table is of the highest standards, and that doesn't change from venue to venue. We keep it that same standard in every single venue that we in every corner of the world that we may and may not take this show. We will make sure that we give our 1000% performance with regards to anywhere we are.
Eve, you want to take that?
Yeah, I mean,
Expectations or feelings
think,
coming to India?
I mean, I'm so excited. I have a couple of students that I teach. I teach singing lessons, and I have quite a lot of international students, and one of my students is from Mumbai. And she's been telling me so many things, and she's like, all my friends are coming to see it, and all the schools talking about it, and I don't know, it's that kind of like hype that I'm like, this is exactly what we as actors on stage respond to every single night, is that electricity in the audience. And to hear that the audience in Mumbai are ready for it, so am I. We've had 3 weeks off, so we're going to be coming in like this. Like, we're ready. So we're going to dive straight in, and we're going to give everything we have. And I think also it's so lovely that we're bringing, we have pretty much an English cast from the West End. So it's really nice to bring kind of our art form, like our West End art form, to an international stage, so everyone gets to experience a little bit of London, and also we have a Canadian American director, and we have international crew, and it's just kind of like we have we have a mini world in Wicked, and I just really hope that people see that and love it and respond to it. I'm just so excited.
But have you come to India even on holiday, Rebecca, Eve?
No.
Oh my God, you're India virgins.
Yes,
you have never been to India before.
I'm
oh
so
my goodness! And you're going to land into a city of 22 million people. Oh, the smells and the sounds from quaint little old Blighty. I wonder what you're going to feel. But it's lovely, yeah. I mean, no expectations, but it's going to be one hell of a wild ride. Yeah, that's lovely. I think a nice way to sign off would be about pre-stage rituals. Do you have something to go to before you step on the stage? Yeah, Eve?
So, I mean, I have quite a few. Just because I feel like it's one of those, it's almost like a little check-in for me of being like, oh, okay, how am I feeling today? If I do the same thing every day, I can kind of gauge where I am in my body and mentally. So they're all silly things. Like right at the start of the show, I get into my bubble and I get lifted up into the flies, and it's very, very high up. And so the ensemble who are with me on the stage right, they kind of wave me off. And they sing a little bit of Sound of Music, the So Long Farewell. They sing that to me, and then I sing Goodbye up the octave just to check I've got my soprano register. And they will go, you got it. So it's a little bit of kind of like a check-in for everyone and a fun thing. And then I'll dance along in the bubble to the ensemble start, just to kind of shake off any nervous energy. So they do quite a lot of heads, and so I'll do all the heads. And I'm like, if I get all the heads right, it's going to be a good show.
Rebecca, what's yours? What's your pre-show ritual?
I mean, I don't actually have a pre-show ritual per se because I feel different every single day, and therefore I kind of just tune into what my body and my soul might need that day. I do have like a rolly ball, and sometimes with the singing and the tension of the harness, I kind of try and roll out as much tension as possible before I go on. I start the show side stage. I'm not a beginner, so I technically don't need to be side stage straight away, but I will watch the opening every single day and make sure that my Eve is okay. I make sure that I watch her up in the bubble every single day. I sing along with Glinda just to check that vocal range going on backstage before I run out. And I kind of just say hello to everyone to make sure that we're all on the same page, we're all ready to continue to do this show, etc. And it's kind of just like it's a weird mother hen attribute that I have to make sure that everyone's okay before the show starts. So that's kind of my only rituals that I have.
There you have it. Wicked the Musical comes to Mumbai, the Grand Theatre, NMACC, March the 12th to March the 29th. Tickets are live now on Book My Show as well as at the venue, also at nmacc.com. That's nmacc.com. Book now. They're going out very, very fast. Rebekah, Eve, I really appreciate your time, and this was so much fun. I can't wait to see you backstage after your performance. Cheers.
We're very excited. Thank you.
you.
One world, your station.